Welcome back, and our next tech talk this morning, we'll be hearing from Advancis, who aim to simplify event processing in the control centre. From their demonstration, you'll learn how events reported by a wide variety of technical systems are handled easily and safely using the open PSIM platform WinGuard from Advancis. WinGuard enables the unified control of systems such as fire and intrusion alarms, CCTV, access control, and BMS. Dynamic workflows support the operator in event processing. Now, the platform is available with over 470 interface drivers, and new ones are constantly being released and open for third-party developments. Now, after the presentation, I'll be joined by Richard Mcclellan, who's the Sales Director for UK and Ireland, and also Allan Dickinson, who's Technical Manager also for UK and Ireland. And they are here to answer any questions that you might have. So as always, pop those questions in the box that's in the top right hand corner of your screen, and I'll put those questions to the team. But first, let's have a watch of the presentation.
Hello, I'm Richard Mcclellan, Sales Director UK and Ireland for Advancis Software. We're a global leader in the PSIM industry, headquartered in Frankfurt, Germany, with regional offices in 6 countries and a certified partner network that spans the globe. Our open integration platform WinGuard, which we'll be showing you today, unifies the control of security, building automation, IT and communication systems. For more than 25 years, we have developed a truly open software platform. We don't manufacture any hardware and are completely vendor neutral and agnostic. This neutrality enables us to have strong alliances with our technology partners. This is underpinned by our Strategic Alliance Programme. Our open architecture and agnostic philosophy has enabled us to develop a vast portfolio of supported system integrations, and we currently have over 470 approved to different systems across security, life safety, building automation, IT and communication systems, and we currently have over 2,000 projects realised globally. As I mentioned, WinGuard provides a single unified interface for the command and control of all connected subsystems. But most essentially, WinGuard provides operators with an instant picture for full situational awareness to aid them with decision making, enabling them to command and control these connected subsystems, and using dynamic and interactive workflows to support the operator in handling the event. Now we're going to move to the live demonstration of WinGuard, showcased by our Technical Manager, Allan Dickinson.
Hello and welcome to this demonstration of WinGuard. Today I'm going to give you an overview of how the WinGuard product looks, feels and functions. From here you'll be able to get a good idea how you could customize the WinGuard product to suit your requirements. I'm going to start with an overview of the home screen. The home screen can be very much customized, not just the look and the size of objects, but also the design. This has many uses. One such use may be if you have staff who may be colorblind, then you can actually change the colors and the look and the feel of the product in order to give them the best usage of the system possible. The latest and greatest, as with most technologies these days, is to have a dark look and feel, but we still do have the ability to flick back into the lighter look and feels and the grey look and feel. So on the home screen here within WinGuard, you can customize most of this. All of these tabs, for example, you can drop, you can reorder, you can resize, you can decide which tab is the opening tab, etc. The only thing that's really not customizable within this home screen is the event bar at the bottom here. Although everything within the bar is customizable, including the tabs, the colors of the events, etc. The bar has to remain for obvious reasons because the system is very much event focused. The other things that you can customize are moving, for example, locations and data points and the other sections across here to the right, to the top, reorganizing, however you'd like the system to look. And this makes the system usable in many, many different scenarios. The structures across on the left, as you'll see with things such as locations, is very much as you would expect. It's very much tree structure and very simple and easy for the users to operate. It's very common and most Windows applications use this feature set. Within these tree structures, these are related to locations, but you'll also see the ones below here which are related to data point. Data points are basically an endpoint such as a fire detector, an intrusion detector, etc. And within WinGuard and within Advancis, we refer to them as data points. But you can drop these down just as discussed using the tree structure. We can go into cameras, go into the site that's relevant. We can say company, for example, and within company, we'll be able to see the different cameras. So within there, we could then select cameras for drag and drop onto the video areas of the application, which, as discussed before, would normally be on a separate screen to the right or to the left. Across here on the right, this is our home demo screen, which allows us to show many different scenarios. However, a user would generally open with either something like a CAD plan or a GIS map, or maybe even a dashboard such as the one we're looking at now. WinGuard has the capability to use dashboard technology, and all of the dashboards can be customized to the user requirements. For example, in this instance where we have a worldwide client who would like to see the stats for their sites, you can see here the different sites, the level of risk across the associated sites, and by drilling into the sites, you can then see the different event types, the share of all the events, the completion times, reaction times, etc. And this is all customizable, so everything that is basically recorded within the workflows can be customized and shown within the nice pretty dashboards. And these can be viewed within the WinGuard application, but also externally in a standard web browser such as Firefox or Chrome. As mentioned, we do have GIS functionality, which is also expanding. We have plans later this year to move into using mapping technologies such as Esri and OpenStreetMaps, which will give us further capability to complement the Google interface that we already have. You can drill into them, and as you'll see, you can drill into areas, and within these maps you can plot fence lines, you can plot cameras, etc. From there, you may wish to zoom even further down into the building and see a CAD plan. It should be noted that within CAD plans that all of the layers can be imported. If the layers are already there, they can be auto-imported. And as you import them and turn the layers on and off, you can see how they start to bring things into the application. And anything that is, for example, offline would flash in different colors. Anything that's in event would flash in a different color, etc. So that it gives you a complete overview of the site that you're looking at. If I wanted to create some quick buttons, then what I can do is create some quick buttons down here. So it may be that I wish to deset one of the intruder areas, and you'll see that that area has gone green. So from a proactive point of view, this allows me to react and create things quickly within the application. And you'll also see that you'll see here, I've selected in the locations at the top under administration. Once I've selected a particular area, the data point list is shrunk, and you only see the data points that are relevant to that area. So again, it makes the system very simple and easy to use. And this is just a simple filter that's applied by location. There's lots of other features around CAD, but this is probably the simplest form of overview. If we then would like to raise some events into the application, we have our little tool here called Demo Panel. This allows me to raise events into the system and show you how the system may react. So we're going to raise an unauthorized access attempt into the system. You'll see that immediately the event pops to the front, and we can now deal with this event. Now, across on the right-hand screen, if you did have the video manager launched on the right-hand screen, you would see here that the video is automatically shown on the video screen, and it can either be put there or onto monitor wall PCs, or however you may want the video to be displayed. And this could be pre and post video, but also could be snapshots and live video. In this instance, we've also embedded the video into the main screen just to make the demonstration easier. However, here what you're seeing is a snapshot of the person that's generated the event, and also the live image, and you can see the person's obviously disappeared. What you'll see as part of this demonstration is, as with the video, as soon as the events occurred, the system has created the cause and effect scenarios behind the scenes and has actually gone away and gone to the VMS system and actually picked up the video ready immediately for the operator to deal with. Other things that have happened behind the scenes here so far are the access control system. The WinGuard system's gone away to the access system and said, look, I have an ID of 123. Could you please tell me the first name, last name, and the company of that person, along with a picture? And that's been then presented on a virtual card within the platform for you to make decisions from. Down here, if I accept that event, you'll now see the event log here starts to fill up. We also have created a bookmark, so if we need to quickly go back and review the footage that happened, we can right click and say play stream, which will allow us to quickly see the footage and see which direction the offender went in, or whatever it may be. And you'll see, as I said, this event log will fill up, and any attachments that we'd like to add, from PDFs to JPEGs to video clips, etc., will all appear in the attachments section to keep everything nice and tidy and together in one event. Up here in the CAD plan, you'll see that the CAD plan is now flashing. So as I said, when the door has changed state, that you now get a different color, and you also can create flashes, etc., to define where the event's taken place. You could also have a secondary graphic if needed, which zoomed right into the area, and we'll come more to that in some of the events later down the line. Up here, this is what we call our dynamic workflows, our interactive workflows, and at the top here we have some standard set of data. So this data is very static. This is just about what's happened, where, when, basically. And from there, we can then start to follow the workflow through. So the first part of the workflow is check the video feed. Does the person look like the card holder? In this instance, the answer is no, but we'll just click yes, just to show you how the dynamic workflow technology works. So here we are with the next action would be call the intercom, ask the person why do they need to pass the door, they don't have access to that area. And that would be the next step if the answer was yes. But in this instance, the person doesn't look like the card holder, so we'll click on no. And you'll immediately see how the workflow changes. Now, what's important here is usability. And usability means where, for example, the next action is to disable a card within the access control. In lots of systems, you're kind of up here in the menus and trying to figure out how to disable that card. Within WinGuard, we have buttons within the workflow that are programmed behind it to go to the system and disable that user's card. So I clicked on that button, and you'll now see that the badge is disabled. We now need to show the surrounding cameras, and again, I'm just going to launch Video Manager for this, just to show you how this would look. So if I launch the Video Manager and click Show Surrounding Cameras, you'll now see that the system will go away and get an image from all of the cameras around the original camera to give you an idea, a chance of tracking the suspect. We'll come back to Video Manager shortly. So we've now tried to track the suspect. We're going to inform the guards. Again, this would be a SIP interface. So all of the buttons are using simple interfaces and easy to use interfaces. We're going to inform the guard on duty, Mr. Miller, and that will be via an interface, via a radio or a telephone system, which could be SIP. And here we'll inform the guard and tell them what's happening. The guard may then ask for a screenshot to his WinGuard mobile application. To do this, we click Export, Attach Image to Event. And here we have now an image attached into the event that will automatically now be transmitted to the guard's mobile app. We can now send a text message to the badge owner to tell them that their badge has been stolen, and we can now hopefully detain the suspect once they're found, create a report to send to the access control administrator, and that is my job done. Just to quickly show you that if I click on the report button up here, this will create a PDF of the whole event. And within this event report, you can now see all of the static data that I discussed. You can also see all of the actions that the operator's taken, all of the cameras that we use to monitor the event, all the actions that the operator took from a point of view of pressing the buttons, and also then the graphic and the snapshot as well. So once this event is complete, we can simply click complete, and that is the end of the event. We go back to our home screen unless other events are present within the system. We're just going to raise another couple of events into the system, but before I do that, I just want to give you a brief overview of the video manager. So we talked a little bit about this video manager, and you've seen that you can see different styles, different layouts coming up within the system. So depending on the layout will be dependent on which where the tiles are shown, and you can have specific event layouts, etc. One of the nice things within WinGuard is where you can simply select cameras in here and the ability to quickly get to footage, etc. So if I select a camera from traffic scene, because it's a very good image to use for this, and I can quickly click pause, and then I can go forwards, backwards, multi-speed forwards and backwards using the shuttle. I can also use the buttons to go forwards and backwards, play one step at a time, play forwards, play back, all the usual functions of a VMS. However, what we're doing here is we're manipulating many VMS systems together into one pane. So most of the main manufacturers are supported, and most of the features within the video manager are supported within the major VMS platforms. What you can do from here is you can quickly, if you'd like to export some footage, then you can quickly use the timeline to set some markers for, say, a minute. These can be then adjusted. Let's say we decide we want 2 minutes. We can then export the video, and we can either export sequence direct into WinGuard, which means it's stored in the video archive with WinGuard, or specifically out to a USB stick or onto a different hard drive or SAN somewhere that you may want to, where you keep your video storage. So that's how to quickly export video. Within the timeline, if you were linked to an analytics system, you would get different colored dots within the system that would explain all the different types of analytics events that are being pushed into the system also. But the key feature here being the ability to layer multiple VMS images and camera images all in one place and have all the same functionality simplified together. But the ability also to mix and match live and replay video together within one screen. Moving on to show some other events and other workflows. Here what we have is a fire event, and let's actually create 2 fire events at the same time. And what we can see here is the grouping down here. So this is important that we've had 2 fire events, but the system is intelligent enough to understand that both fire events came from zone 2 within a specific time period, and therefore this must be a group of the same event. If not, you can absolutely split the events off, but as it's dealt with, it'll be dealt with as one event. Again, the same concepts apply. Any kind of cause and effect that needs to happen in the background happens, and like I said previously, multiple graphics are possible if you need to zoom into specific areas as an example. So once you've clicked accept, you've got control of this event, and again, you can view cameras, you can go through the events, and the event will be very much dynamic. So is this a real alarm? Yes, no, unknown, and depending on which one you click will be dependent on the next event the next workflow point in which you must follow. The other thing to take into account here is we're saying consider wind direction. And again, this is an integration that's quite unusual, but for this particular project was required where we're integrated with wind systems. The wind directions would be relevant for obviously blowing smoke across potentially residential areas, especially if the smoke is toxic, etc. But you kind of from previously get the idea that you work down the workflows and the questions are asked, and the user will only have to answer the relevant questions, which makes their job very simple. I won't complete this because they all work in a very simple and similar way. However, one other event that would be quickly worth showing as part of this demonstration would be a high temperature event, and this is because this just brings something slightly different to the system. So this is a high temperature event within a data center, and here again we can click accept. The system works in exactly the same way, but this time graphic 2 is something a little different. So if this was more of an engineering security control room, from here we'd be able to create automatically with integration to the SCADA or the BMS, be able to see, look, okay, here we can see all the different valves, whether they're open, closed, whether there is what the temperatures are in certain areas of the air conditioning system, what the temperatures are, what the pressure is, what the valve positions are, etc. And this means if we were engineering staff, we could automatically make some calls just by looking at this, or potentially even push messages back into SCADA or BMS and say, okay, now we'd like to open that valve or whatever that may be. Also from here, if we did need somebody to attend this rack, if the system was electronic locking, we could simply open the rack in order for them to go and see, kind of take a look inside and see what had happened. And obviously, as per before, we now have the workflow technology over here. So the key is to be able to keep this simple. And if the staff are if they're just security staff and not engineering staff, then they may want to call people who can advise them on what the best next steps are. So these would potentially be key holders or IT staff who may want to come and attend. So we can call these people automatically using the SIP interface and start to answer some questions. Is this a real alarm? Yes. Okay. It's misconduct or whatever that may be. And the workflows can build up however they are required to. So that's a couple of examples of how everything would work. And that's a brief overview. So thanks for watching our brief overview. And if you'd like any further details on the WinGuard product, then please visit our website on www.advancis.net. Or if you have further questions, then we'd be happy to answer them right now in our Q&A session. Thanks for listening.
Well, I am really happy to say that we have Richard, who you've just been watching with us live, along with Allan Dickinson, both from Advancis. So welcome to you both for a tech talk. And you're in a great situation in that you're both together, which is often not the case when we have tech talks. People are all over the place. Where are you, and what's it like to be able to work in the same building again?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, we're based out of Leeds, in the north of England. So yeah, it's good. It's nice being back in the office, but still nice to work from home sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, we were saying hybrid is a good thing at the moment for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to have some normality of office though also.
Yeah, lovely. Well, we already have a question that's come through. And just a reminder, this is the time now. If you do have questions, having watched that demo, please put them to Richard and also to Allan. They're here to answer those questions. There is a box in the top right-hand corner, a chat box. Pop the questions in there and I'll put them to the two of them. But first off, our first question is, what kind of training of the platform is available from Advancis?
Okay, so yeah, I can answer that one. There's multiple training packages available. So we, as a business, try and train our partners to a level where they can actually be completely independent. So where that helps is the partners, they can have our assistance with installations, commissioning, problem fixing, etc. But what we do is we have training courses available that put them in that seat as well. So they can actually, there's two packages. One's a basic package, which gives them all the information to be able to commission, train, manage their clients with the system. And we also have an advanced package, which can be more tailored around the client. So it can be tailored around specific needs, specific requirements, things they need extra help on, things they want advanced training on. And that's really beneficial for our partners.
Yeah, and it's the training courses, you can view the agenda and the details and the dates on our website. So if you go to the website, there's a section for resources and training, and you can view everything there about the course agendas.
And pre-pandemic, we obviously had in-person training. We now have online e-learning as well. So we have both options, and obviously the in-person events will come back after when we're all a little freer.
Yeah, and it's good to have that offering of e-learning, which is so important at the moment. So brilliant. Thank you for that question. And we'll move on to another question. And this is around GDPR regulations, because your system connects to lots of third-party systems. How does WinGuard ensure that you are complying?
Yeah, so GDPR is always a tricky one in our industry, and with lots of different regulations, obviously throughout Europe and in the UK. So we where possible, we don't hold personal data internally within the WinGuard system. So lots of lots of things related to GDPR. For example, if the access control system is already handling the GDPR regulations, then why complicate the matter by bringing in names and holding them internally? What we tend to do is reference them at the time needed, i.e. get somebody's details, we bring them into the system, use the picture, etc. But then when that event is finished, we remove the details, so it's almost cached, and we just hold an identifier for them, so we don't ever really hold much personal data. Where it is required, however, and it is required in some occasions, we have the ability for things like the right to be forgotten and things like that, so we have the ability to delete people out of our system and ensure it's fully compliant in the way it manages them people within there. So yeah, we have all the facilities to delete them after a set period of time, etc.
Fantastic, thank you. So we've got a couple more questions that have come in. Thank you for these. The first one is there a mobile tablet platform available for WinGuard?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have platforms available on Android and iOS. They're available on the App Store and Google Store, so you can download them. Obviously, you need a WinGuard system to connect them to make them useful. But yeah, it's available and it's part of our application. It's nice for kind of handling and people on the ground and being able to kind of push events out to them, to the relevant teams. And we have objects for things like team control coming out in the next year, which will enable people to be able to manage their different teams on the ground, send out specific tasks, clips of video, snapshots of video, etc., to enable them to manage their teams efficiently on the ground.
Great, thank you. And thank you again for that question. So another question that we have that's come in is, does the platform have any cybersecurity monitoring integrations?
We do have some cyber integrations. Just to be clear on this, because we get asked this quite a lot, we don't actually particularly specialize in that ourselves, but we do have partners out there where we integrate cyber technologies into our platform, and we are actually seeing quite an increase in this at the moment, so it's quite a common thing that we get asked for this. And we're looking at further partners at the moment that we can bring on that specialize in that arena where we can integrate. And again, as with all of the integrations we have within WinGuard, it's about leveraging the best of breed technology and bringing it in and integrating it and creating that convergence within the platform. So yeah, it's something we do have and something we're looking to expand on.
Okay, lovely, thank you. And so another question is, if a system's not currently integrated, how is that overcome?
Yeah, good question. So we have a team of in-house developers within Germany. We have around 50 developers. We don't outsource any development work. As part of that team, we have an integrations team specifically. If we've got a customer or a partner who has a new system that we don't currently have on our interface list, there's quite a robust process we go through in terms of evaluating that. So liaising with the third-party technology company, evaluating their API or SDK. We then produce an evaluation document that is provided to the partner or the customer that shows exactly what functionality they'll get, what features they'll get, what's available within WinGuard from that integration. They then sign that off, and then it goes into our development plan. And it depends on the complexity of the integration to how long it takes then to be available. When it's being developed, it then goes through a very strict Q&A process, and then it gets released to market, etc., etc.
Just to add to that, we also have for our partners now our own APIs, so our own integration, so our partners can actually sign up to our what we call AOP, Advancis Open Platform. And that means that they can be issued our integration tools, and they can, if they have their own development resource, they can actually write integrations and add them to our ecosystem as well, which makes it really flexible. And it means if people don't want to be reliant on us as a manufacturer or wait for our lead times or anything like that, there's APIs out there, so it makes us even more open. It puts us into that open architecture space even more, which is where we're looking to really head to.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for answering those questions. If you do have any unanswered questions and you just couldn't quite put it down in time to be answered live now, you can book into the exhibitor booth. An Advancis representative will answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much, Richard and Alan, for joining us this morning for the Tech Talk. And you know, we will be back at 11:30 with our next Tech Talk, which is with Darwar Technology. But from all of us here, hope you have a lovely time until then. Goodbye.
Goodbye.